Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Quality women who let themselves go. Now, this podcast is brought to you by the generous donation of a young man who wanted me to address this issue, right? And just as I said, if you want to guarantee that I address a question, you need to bless a brother. Teenage boys are growing. My youngest son, my oldest son already about 6'1", 6'2". I'm hoping he stopped growing. And he's starting to fill out now, and women checking him out, right? Because he like to wear gray sweatpants. So all y'all cougars stay away from him, though. But my youngest son, he's starting to hit that growth spurt now. I was like, man, I just bought you these clothes. So brother need to feed his baby. So if you hit me up with a donation, 95% chance I'll do the podcast for you. 95. Like I said, if it's something that I have no idea about or it goes against my principles, I'll send your money back. But this is something that's very important. Let me read what this brother had to say. He said, "Can you do a video on quality women who refuse to compete to stay in the relationship? These women get comfortable and after some time or just simply refuse to sexually satisfy and refuse to keep a consistent workout. But the men are expected to still do the 4 Ps. Provide, protect, procreation, and problem solve. Be faithful and still work out. These quality women who cook and there are quality women who cook and clean, but quality men cook and clean nowadays as well. Competing to keep their men after a while is something these women simply are not going to do anymore. What do you say to the men in these situations?" Now, that's kind of a 2-part thing. And again, I want to thank the young man who made the generous donation. That is a 2-part thing. First of all, and this is for men and women. This is for men and women. However you were when you started that relationship, you brought the relationship together, you need to stay there. Like, you really need to stay. Like, if you cut up, like you real fine, your body real tight when y'all started that relationship, male or female, need to keep it up. And as this young man said, the men are still expected to keep it up. If they got that like 10% body fat when they met, I mean, shoot. The women might start complaining if it get to 13, Or he doesn't do those 4 Ps. If he stop providing or protecting procreation and problem solving, the women's be like, oh, man, I ain't in love with you no more. Right? They ready to go. And then you got some other women co-signing. So, but it's the same thing on the other side of the coin. However you start the relationship, you need to keep that up because that's what brought you together. Right? Now, of course, there's going to be some deviation within reason. I mean, if a woman started out at 120, most guys, as long as she try to keep it up, they ain't going to trip if y'all together for years and you just get to 130. Right? People are realistic. Stuff happens and all of that. But what this young man is talking, the situation is when a woman, she come into that kicking ass. And y'all ladies listening, y'all know how y'all do. Some women got that game like that. They come in body tight. You in the gym all the time. You cooking, you catering to that man. And then all of a sudden, you get in there, you get them good. And then all of a sudden, it switches up, right? You let go. You let go, right? He was like, shoot, you go from that 120 to 170. And a baby wasn't in the picture. Like, I give it to you if a baby's in the picture. And I think most reasonable men will be like, all right, but still, even then, breastfeeding actually helps you lose the weight. So, within reason. And like I said, this is the men. I went over what the men need to do and expect to do and should do. But there are too many guys run into a woman who changes up. And I've actually heard that over the years from some men. Like some men, they were like, yeah, don't get married. Your sex going to stop then. She going to change up then. All right? And, the guys thought they had equality. When she's doing all this stuff, she stopped doing it. Right? And the guy's like, damn, what the hell happened? And usually in those cases, the man get in trouble because, that that waitress at that diner down the street started looking real good to him because she's still doing the stuff that got you into the relationship to begin with. So he looked for it from someplace else, right? So, to the women, definitely keep it up. That's just like I just told the guys. Guys got to keep it up, right? So don't say I'm like being one-sided with this. Everybody got to keep it up. Now, to the men in these situations, I'm going to be honest with you. You got God, okay? You got God. I'm not going to blame you for that. I mean, if you got somebody real cooperative, they real fine, smiling, that feels good. Most guys don't have a suspicious nature. Rom got a suspicious nature. I already got trust issues, right? So, but everybody don't have that. So, woman doing all this, you expect, she going to keep doing it, right? You expect that. The man at that point, I'm not going to say just get rid of the woman. But the key right there is communication. The key right there is being totally honest with the woman and you sit her down, right? Like a common thing with many men is if the woman puts on weight. Sorry, ladies, that's just how men are, right? I would say like in that specific case, especially like if the man is keeping down his weight. Like guys only do this if you taking care of your part of the bargain. If your weight went up too, y'all need to just get used to each other, right? But in this specific case, you sit her down and talk with her. Usually, if a woman put on weight and it doesn't have to do with pregnancy, there's some emotional thing, right? First, see what's going on with her, like in general, right? Whether it's weight or something else, she started changing. Just sit down and have a communication. Say, hold up. You got to be straightforward. You take the lead then. You don't just sit there, she doing all this different and stuff. You sit there and be like, and you don't have to argue with you, but say, hold up, baby. All right, you were doing all this at first, but then you changed up on me, right? You changed up on me. You put on a lot of weight. What's going on with you? Like, don't go in like just say, yeah, you're doing all this. No, find out. She could have some stuff because even in the best situations, both men and women are going to keep some stuff. You don't know. She might have some trauma in there that she was able to hide. But think about trauma or anything she hiding, it comes out at some point. Right? So you first find out what's going on with her. Is she changing up like that? Like, and I'm saying most of this in terms of not having a baby. And fellas, to be honest, if they have a baby, that postpartum thing is serious. That's when a man really got to be strongest because women, yeah, it's no joke. It's no joke. Women probably need a support network just to deal with them. I've heard of more women wanting to leave their men or get depressed, anything once that baby's born. So during those instances, you be peaceful with it, right? But the man, you got to be strong and find out what's going on. Find out what's really happening. Now, I ain't going to say just roll from the woman, but try to know everything and be insistent upon it. Especially if you're married. If y'all in a relationship, maybe depending on how far you want to go with her, you need to see what's up. Like if y'all in a relationship and you know what, I was thinking about marrying this woman, you need to sit her down and say, okay, what's going on with you? You changing up or something once you thought you had me. Right? Now, were you faking or is there something happening? And she need to tell you something because it might be something deeper. Right? And also another case, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to just be raw with you. I'm going to be raw with you on here. Sometimes when women switch up, they might come in with the intention that they just want a status thing from you. I've met plenty of women who would marry a guy because they want the status of being married, but they're not really sexually attracted. They don't lust that guy, all right? They don't lust that guy, really respect him, don't really want to submit, but they wanted that status. So once they got what they want, they like, well, shoot, he ain't going nowhere, And that's on the man, too. Any man, see, one of the things, fellas, you need to be very clear and pay attention to everything. I mean, here's a secret. When you're dealing with a woman, like nobody's perfect, but pay attention to anything negative. Just sit back, just see no matter what they're doing, because that could be a problem. And really, I'm gonna tell you what, before like marriage, both people need to like sit down. Both people need to sit down. And I'm saying this as somebody, I've been married and divorced. Sometimes there's some stuff that's deeper than what you can see right there. All right? Make sure you get all that out the way. All right? Then when that switch up comes, if that switch up comes, then you like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. You already knew it was coming. You could prepare for it. Now, this ain't saying a person a bad person. You're probably a good person. But like I said, we all got our stuff with us. Try to get that stuff out the way. Try to approach it and everything, just leaving or charging her to the game, whatever you want to say. That, make that the last resort. There's some people, they not going to address anything. You might have to say, okay, this really ain't going to work, right? But if she was doing that stuff at first, just look at it, and she switched up. You got to look at all those things. Is there some type of trauma that she didn't address? Did something happen during the relationship that changed something? Because sometimes, I'm going to tell you what, despite many men thinking that, they doing all the stuff they supposed to do, they might be something they switching up with. He might not be hitting it as well, or with as much enthusiasm, and she feeling ugly or something, right? Or he might be trifling, or despite him thinking he's handling stuff, he really ain't. If you supposed to be the provider or something, but you're not really providing, or you're not really protecting, that'll switch her up too, right? So, basically, I would say this for the fellas. For anybody who might have had this situation. Make sure your shit's tight first. For the men, make sure your stuff is tight, like you doing what you supposed to be doing. And then, once you tighten that up, and even ask her, it's like, hold up, honey, I'm doing this. What do you see? But that's a conversation about both of y'all, communication. And if necessary, go to a third party, an elder. Go to an elder, marriage counselor, relationship counselor, whatever. Because sometimes they objective. They don't know either one of these. They'll tell you straight up, right? So, yeah, approach it. And then last resort, if it's irreconcilable, just be like, all right, we'll go our separate ways. So, anyway, that's all we have for today. I'll talk to you later. Peace and blessings.